As the new year dawns upon us, it serves as an emblematic truth of change and evolution. In its embrace, we're reminded of life's ebb and flow, where change stands as the only constant. Just as the stars dance in the cosmic expanse, our existence is a symphony of transitions, birth, growth, transformation, and the inevitable passage of time. The turning of the calendar invites us to recognise the beauty in its perpetual flux, urging us to embrace the evolving chapters of our lives. It's within this kaleidoscope of change that we find the canvas upon which we paint the narrative of our existence, a testament to our resilience, adaptability, and capacity for renewal. The new year whispers to us, beckoning reflection and introspection. It is not merely a chronological milestone, but a timeless reminder that in the ever-shifting tapestry of life, change remains the unwavering companion of our journey, not just for each individual, but as every living thing together. You'll have to excuse the ridiculous lighting, it's just dark. It's just dark all the time, so I'm doing what I can. I have a light, but it makes everything look a bit intense. It looks like it's darker than it is. It's like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, but it looks like it's the middle of the night. Anyway, I'm doing what I can. So I decided years ago that I was going to make a New Year's resolution to never make New Year's resolutions again. And as we all know, New Year's resolutions are just made to be broken. That's how it is. So I'm not making New Year's resolutions, but I am going to make this video linked to changes and new goals and new aspirations. I don't believe the new year is the best time to start anything. It's January. That's just ridiculous. Spring is the time for starting things. Spring and the beginning of life and the sun coming back and the days getting longer. That is the motivation and the inspiration and the encouragement to start new things. I don't know why we have New Year's where we have New Year's. We should have the New Year's in spring when it's Earth's New Year's. Our calendar is just completely wrong. So I googled a few ideas for New Year's resolutions because I wanted some inspiration as to what I could take on board. I'm not committing to anything, but I want to put these ideas out there because some of them were things that just didn't cross my mind, and I really like the idea of trying to include them into my life. So I'm going to share some New Year's, I don't want to say New Year's, some lifestyle incorporation and inspiration and changes. Does that make sense? Some lifestyle and mindset improvements to incorporate into your life, which is far more long-winded than saying a New Year's resolution, but so let's talk through them, shall we? I wanted to start with something that is not particularly specific to anything that I want to do personally. It's just something that I'm kind of just throwing out there because I think everyone can do with being a little bit kinder to each other and to yourself. I think it starts from within. So if everyone is a bit kinder to themselves and nicer to themselves, more understanding and compassionate, it kind of seeps outward and reflects onto other people. So if you're kinder inwards, you'll be kinder outwards. It's not really like a resolution as such, it's just something that I wanted to put out into the world because I think everyone needs a reminder to be kind to each other every now and then. It's something we seem to forget, especially if you lived quite a sheltered life, if you're not very well travelled or experienced with different cultures and different people. It's difficult to shake something that you have been so cocooned into. So we all know words are so important, so the kind of language that you use to talk to yourself makes a huge difference to how you perceive yourself and your experiences, and that will seep out onto others as well, so be kind. Usually resolutions are for workout plans or diet plans or getting fit at the beginning of the year, and quite often people don't tend to stick to them, probably because they've started in January and not spring, like I said earlier. I think the new year is the perfect time to bring new life into passions, into hobbies, into things that just ignite your soul. Hobbies are so important, and I think hobbies are a great way to really find your true self and your authenticity, and it makes you happy from within when you start to find your true self. I think that once you start to find yourself through your hobbies, then you become happy within yourself, and then that kind of seeps onto the exterior. And then if you do want to do a workout plan or an exercise routine or whatever it is, you'll have the happiness within you to do that. And I think finding yourself and sticking to your true self is more encouragement than like a personal trainer or the resolution to get fit in the new year. And engaging in something meaningful allows you to tap into your talents and your creativity, and it gives you a sense of fulfillment and purpose, which is something every human needs. So this year for me, I'm going to focus on my filmmaking and my art, and I'm just going to experiment and play around with things and just find myself again and again. And yeah, hobbies. Believe it or not, I'm not actually that into journaling, but I occasionally keep a dream diary, and every time I look back on it, I'm so glad I did that. I also have, let me show you. So I also have a journal from when I went backpacking, which I'm glad I kept, even though a lot of the entries were short and not very good. And I also have my diary from when I was at school, which is just like, look at that, like look at that. I'm so glad I kept this. It's so cringe, but just nice, and it's filled with so many memories that you just would forget about. So I'm going to get back into it. This is my journal for the year. I've started on the 6th, a bit late to the party. I'm not going to put any pressure on filling this in. I'm going to, if I only just put 1 or 2 lines, that's good enough. Just anything to kind of have something to look back on, as well as something to be grateful for, because I want to be more mindful of all the good things, because it's all about the mindset. And I think having a journal is great for gratitude, as well as just the memories and remembering what you've done. If you don't keep any record, like any pictures or any notes or anything like that, then it's very easy to feel like you've not done anything, especially at the end of the year, to feel like that year wasn't particularly eventful because you have nothing, like nothing to look back on, nothing to see, no photos, no journals or anything like that. So journaling is something I'm going to try this year. We'll see how it goes. Okay, this one is a personal one to me because I do want to read more books this year. I buy books and then never really get around to reading them, so this is the year for reading those books. I recently got a poetry book, which is pretty nice. And the book that this is like nice to read because it's just little short poems, so it's not like, you know, long stories or anything like that. So it's good bedtime reading. And then the book that I have just started reading is Tangled Life. Look at the guy's name. He was destined to write this book. It's all about mushrooms and how they're all interconnected and incredibly important to basically everything on the entire planet. I'm really excited to read this. I literally got through the first like 4 pages and I was like, oh my god, we need to share this with everyone, it's so good. Yeah, so Entangled Life, all about mushrooms and the magic of mushrooms. Yeah, this year I want to read more books. This is something I've spoken about in previous videos. It's something, stretching in yoga is something that I tend to dip in and out of. Unfortunately, I'm not very consistent with it. But I suppose it's all about being mindful as to, I mean, that's the purpose of meditation, isn't it? Is to be more mindful. So I want to be more mindful that I want to do these things. And so far it's going well. I've been doing stretches like every morning with meditation. it's just something I want to pursue a bit more of because I feel so good when I do these things, and it's something that I definitely want to incorporate in my life. And it's about being mindful as to what you do with your time and where your mind goes. So if you're mindful to things you want to do more of, it becomes a habit and you don't even think about it, you just do it. So that's where I would like to be, and that's what I'm trying to do more of this year. It's a little bit cheesy, a little bit cliche, I know. It kind of ties in with what I was saying earlier about everyone being nicer to each other. It's just something that I think people need reminding of every now and then. When I used to work in retail, it was incredibly soul destroying and painful, but whenever someone gave me a compliment, it would just stick with me for the rest of the day. So you can just turn someone's day around by being nice, doing something nice, holding the door open, just throwing in a compliment, saying they smell nice. It just makes a world of difference, particularly for people working in retail, because it's not a nice place to be. Also, being nice and being kind is pretty infectious, you know. When you get a compliment or somebody does something particularly nice for you, it puts a smile on your face for the rest of the day, and that's infectious. When I see people smiling and really happy, it makes me smile and really happy. And when I get a compliment, it makes me want to give someone else a compliment. It's so infectious. So basically, I'm going to spend my year going around putting smiles on everyone's faces, and I'm hoping I can encourage and inspire you guys to do the same, because it's infectious. Being nice, smiling, good energy, it's infectious. I realise most of these aren't particularly specific, actionable things, but more like mindsets and things that I'm just kind of putting out there. They're not like specific things that you can tick off, they're just things that should be incorporated into my life as well as everybody else's life in an ideal world. But this one is I'm kind of just throwing this one in here as a reminder that everyone needs water. Water's incredibly important. I drink a lot of tea, and I'm trying to convert to more water and less tea, which is difficult over the winter months. And as for brushing your teeth, I once had a friend say to me something that has stuck with me. He said, you should brush your teeth because you're going to want them when you're older. And yeah, that just stuck with me, because that's true. Another kind of cheesy one, handwritten letters. I have seen people do this with friends, and there's just something so beautiful and different about writing a letter rather than a text or an email. There's so much more thought and detail into a letter. It's much more personal rather than a text, which is a little bit more kind of casual, and you have a tangible memory that you can just keep hold of forever. And then scrapbooking, I used to do scrapbooking. When I was like 18, I used to go clubbing with a camera. I was the only one that went to a club with an actual camera, and risky, I know. I did lose one to a club once. So I have 3 massive scrapbooks, mostly filled with pictures from nights out. And the reason I stopped making those scrapbooks was because I started taking too many pictures. I had way too many pictures that I couldn't put into a photo album. But I want to start again this year and maybe just be a lot more picky with the pictures that I choose to put in the photo albums. I love having these to look back on, because there's something so nice about looking through a photo album and just having all of the years laid out for a book that you can just flick through, versus looking through photo albums on a computer. It's just not the same. So this year I'm going to start another scrapbook. It's quite exciting. Leafy with the leaf. Is this distracting? I think it is. You're gonna have to move, I think. Okay, this one is by far the biggest thing that I am dying to do and really want to just get to it this year. I have so many places that I want to travel to, so many countries that I want to visit, and I've spent the last however many years very consumed and focused on my work and my career and my businesses that I've just been too focused on that and haven't really done any travelling. And that's on my dream, goal, life ambition board, whatever you want to call it. I think being pushed outside of your comfort zone is something I wish everyone would experience on a regular basis, to be honest, because it's so transformative. I think we all need adventure and we all need to be pushed outside our comfort zone. It is the perfect way to find yourself. I've wanted to be a bit more established in my career and my finances and my life before I left to do any sort of travelling or adventuring. But I feel like this is the year. I feel things are kind of coming together a little bit, and this is the year, basically. This is the year for adventure and travel, I hope. Okay, this one is up there with the previous one. Adventure and travel is huge, but this one is equally as important. Finding my tribe. I'm not going to go into all the details because like I could make an entire video about this, but I basically over the past few years have removed a lot of people from my life. A lot of people who were just not my people. I spent quite a few years hanging around people who just weren't on the same wavelength as me. They weren't creative, they had no sense of adventure, they were quite happy working a 9 to 5 and didn't want to travel, didn't really want to see the world, just kind of wanted to get married and have kids or whatever. And like my YouTube started with me basically ranting about how I couldn't work a 9 to 5 and didn't want to work in retail and didn't want to have a crappy job that I didn't enjoy, and wanted to just create art and make videos and take pictures, which is a very different lifestyle to most people. And I just I've been on a very different wavelength. I also feel like the people I've been surrounded with, not only are they on a different life wavelength, but also kind of a different priority wavelength and moral wavelength. Does that make sense? Just had different morals, different priorities, totally different places. Not my people, and this is the year where I want to travel and I want to find my right people, my tribe, the people that I connect on a higher level with. Yeah, basically looking for some fellow wandering leaves. Okay, this has taken me like way too long to make because my camera keeps telling me it's about to overheat. This is it. Thank you for watching me ramble. Tell me what your New Year's resolution is, or 1 or 2 or 3 of them. These aren't, as I say, they aren't necessarily specific to me, but they're things that I think everyone can relate to in some way, shape or form. I think everyone can always find their tribe, no matter where you are, no matter what age you are. Everyone can always find new people, everyone can always have new adventures, everyone can always be kinder to each other. They're all pretty universal, right? So thank you for watching. Let me know what your New Year's resolution or resolutions are, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!